Hello there friends, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. In just a few days it's a new calendar page, and on the pro scene it's all quiet except for the streams from M0NESY and s1MPLE. These two are just warming our hearts. Today we'll talk about the Thorin's sensational interview with s1MPLE, the changes on the pro scene, and take a peek at some streams. I've gathered all the most interesting bits from the last few days. Without further ado, let's get straight to it. As always, we start with the team reshuffles, and it's been quite uneventful to be honest, with only a couple of not so loud transfers made. For example, Stavn left BIG, although he's been inactive for half a year already. Rumor has it he's moving to Endpoint. Or for example, Stiko, who has returned to Apex once again. Not the most thrilling changes, but that's what we've got. To add a bit of variety, Hampus decided to make a move. Remember, he was kicked from NAP recently, then brought back for a couple of tournaments and then removed again. There were rumors about a new Swedish lineup being built around him in Alliance, but that story didn't continue. Instead, another one emerged. He was signed by Bleed. I honestly have no idea what this org is, so you can help me in the comments below if you know something. I only know that they have a Dota 2 team as well, and their CS2 roster is being put together by Kassad. The org itself is based in Singapore, and they're trying to find really good players for their team. For instance, there were rumors that they're negotiating with Smuya, Fear, and JKS. Kassad himself leaked on Twitter that they had talks with Dupree, who reportedly asked for a salary of $26,000. But the org wasn't ready to pay such money. In short, they want a good lineup, but not an overly expensive one, not like Falcons, so to speak. And the last bit on the reshuffles, Navi's CS team manager has left the org. The reason is unclear, but that's the kind of changes we're seeing right now on the pro scene. And believe it or not, that's all for now. No crazy rumors, no wild transfers, everyone's chilling, gearing up for the new season, and in no rush overall. But I do have a bunch of interviews for you, for instance from Jabbi and Stavn, though it's not exactly interviews, it's more like a letter, a post on Twitter, but anyway, it's interesting to see what they have to say about their controversial transfer. I won't quote the whole post, but just highlight the key points. It all started in mid-September when Heroic dropped dramatically and badly from the group stage of the ESL Pro League. Stavn decided to talk to Cadian and the org about the numerous problems they were facing. Due to the reshuffling in management, too many responsibilities were placed on the captain and he couldn't handle it. As a result, they were losing, the atmosphere was terrible and Cadian couldn't cope. And in order to solve this, Stavn was even willing to leave the team himself. The management and Cadian listened to all of this, they agreed and understood that something needed to be fixed. A couple of days later, everyone gathered again and decided that they needed to remove Cadian. They would bring in a new player and everything would go smoothly. And everyone was okay with this, including the management, except for Cadian, obviously. However, according to Stavn, he later learned that Heroic was considering a second option, removing everyone and leaving only Cadian to rebuild the team. Stavn and Jabbi were shocked by this, and it undermined the players' trust in the management. In the end, they decided to leave. In their letter, Stavn and Jabbi deny the information that we received from Heroic. Supposedly, they asked to kick Cadian, and if that happened, they would immediately sign a new contract. According to them, this never happened, and there were no agreements of that sort. They also denied the deal with Astralis. Allegedly, during this time, Stavn and Jabbi already had a new contract with a different org. According to them, whatever Heroic said is all a lie, and Astralis signed them at the end of September. This means it happened after the internal issues with Heroic. Additionally, Astralis handled everything very professionally, first reaching out to the org and then the players. There were no personal agreements, everything was resolved at the club level, as it should be in a transfer market. In conclusion, Stavn and Jabbi state, "We never planned or conspired with anyone to push Cadian out of Heroic or to hurt Heroic, Cadian, or anyone else. Our project with Heroic simply fell apart and we decided to follow our heart and pursue a new opportunity for our careers." Such is the letter from these two. In their words, they have nothing to do with this. They were only concerned that Heroic wasn't performing well, Cadian wasn't cutting it, and something needed to be done. They claim they didn't want to kick him themselves. The team practically suggested it and they just agreed. Then it turns out Heroic deceived them, putting their trust back in Cadian instead of them. Honestly, it all sounds like complete nonsense, and it's impossible to believe. Firstly, they say that Cadian couldn't handle it, indicating a lack of personnel in the org, forcing the captain to take on many responsibilities off the server. I can readily believe this, especially considering that Astralis had previously lured several people from Heroic, including their sports director. But the question arises, if you remove Cadian, how will it solve the personnel shortage? Will a new player come in and miraculously handle it? Who is this genius who we don't know about? Even if Cadian himself couldn't manage, he definitely knows how to build teams. Secondly, I'd really like to believe that Astralis conducted negotiations super honestly and there was no conspiracy with Jabbi and Stavn. But come on, it's Astralis. How many times they have done it before? All these dirty stories are specifically linked to Heroic. They took Hunden, did it in a super ugly way and caused a ruckus on the whole scene. They took Heroic's sports director, and according to Cadian, the players almost hated him after that. There were also rumors that Astralis lured several top managers from Heroic, so these tensions have been going on for a long time between these two, and this time everything went smoothly and without any dirt. Yeah, I believe it, yes, totally. I willingly trust such a position. Anyways, then Cadian returns for one blast, speaks his heart-wrenching words again, and looks at TassAs as he were his son. According to Stavn and Jabbi, they have nothing to do with it. It was the rest of the team that decided to kick Cadian. I'll remind you that the rest of the team is HooXi, TassAs, and Syst. And honestly, I don't really believe or see any hypocrites or snakes or rats in them all. But in Jabbi and Stavn themselves, I do see that. They also say that the coach supported them, but he somehow immediately left Heroic when Cadian left. In short, we have even more questions, and in reality no one believed these stories from Stavn and Jabbi. Even analysts and casters say that there are too many illogical and contradictory things in this letter. As I see it, Stavn had a fight or a quarrel with Cadian. He portrayed it as if Cadian had changed and couldn't handle it anymore, taking on too much. So Stavn issued an ultimatum, either he goes or Cadian does, and Jabbi supports him. And the disputes began. Heroic's management decided that they needed to bet on the young players because the future is with them and it's better to say goodbye to Cadian than to them and all that. Plus, they immediately offered new contracts to these two, so they won't lose everything at once. And precisely at this point, or even earlier, Astralis came in. They clearly have their ears in Heroic, and don't forget that their sports director switched over, who according to Cadian was a crucial person in Heroic, and after his departure everything went downhill. When Heroic had internal disputes, Astralis wrote to Stavn saying that they could take him and Jabbi. Like, in their team everything's calm, no conflicts, and they would reunite with their sports director and everything would be fine. Heroic on their side weren't fools either, and they realized that they had mistakenly trusted the younger players. And while they were secretly communicating with Astralis, they urgently needed to bring back Cadian, but Cadian, being a proud guy, told them to get lost, saying he no longer believed in them and didn't want to return. As a result, we see that the team unexpectedly lost 3 main players at once. And these aren't just my speculations, this is all information from official sources, interviews, and so on. Alternatively, everything happened as Stavn and Jabbi said, exactly like they said. It's up to you to decide whom to believe. Write in the comments below which scenario seems to be more plausible to you.
If you want to bring him back, we can get him in to talk about Astralis / the Heroic situation if he's down. But
no, I think if I put him in this room to talk about that, he's gonna feel like he got stabbed again. So all
right. Well, we're about to leave. We're about to leave this and head to some more quick fire stuff just to get some quick opinions on things. So this is just essentially us going through a few headlines, and if you guys have anything you want to jump in with here, feel free, right? Because these are just little news points I want to get across to the people at home.
Wanted my input on the Astralis Heroic situation?
Yeah. Did you have much to say? Okay, well, there you go.
If I were to speculate, it seems to me that Astralis might have actually initiated this whole transition and the breakdown of Heroic. They've long despised them, and you yourself know how much bad blood there was between them. I think there was a conflict between Stavn and Cadian after the embarrassing loss at EPL. Instead of resolving it, Stavn complained to Jabbi, who supported him, and they probably still kept in touch with his sports director, who had recently moved to Astralis. Astralis. He informed his new management that there was trouble brewing inside their competitor, and eventually they orchestrated this whole scheme we're saying. They asked Stavn and Jabbi to kick out Kaden and then took them for themselves. It's a perfect plan to destroy Heroic. Essentially, that's what happened. Even Kaden said in an interview that this sports director who left was a key element in their team, and as long as he was with Heroic, no player would even think of switching to Astralis. So maybe this all was planned a long time ago, first Astralis poaching their director and then gradually dismantling the rest of the team. Now Heroic has assembled a somewhat unexpected lineup, and it's not even certain if they can solidify themselves at even a tier 1.5 level. But what you can do? I guess we will see how this situation develops in future. And to continue the topic of bad decisions, remember how G2 decided to unceremoniously kick JKS? The community is still asking questions, and HooXi decided to answer them. Here's what he said. And with Justin, it was like, he was obviously good in big matches and big tournaments, but he had some issues that I'll not go into further detail about. He had some issues that we have been working on for a long time and that we never really saw much progress in. There were some other qualities we needed on this team. Justin, of course, can add other things to another team that needs his qualities. I still love Justin, and I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great player as well. He's just not exactly what this team needed. In the end, it's the decision of the staff, the coaching staff, the management and all that. I don't think you can point a finger at one person and say, this guy killed Justin, which is what the community wants, it looks like. End of quote. It's possible that JK had some issues, but is Nexa the exact replacement needed? People are discussing this in the comments under the interview, and I suggest we do this as well in the comments below. In short, it's still not clear how all of this happened, and no one is stating the direct reasons. But let's finally get to the juiciest part of the episode, Thorin's interview with Simple. Simple basically came to his Twitter hater and they had a nice chat for 2 hours long. And while everyone was really hyped up, in reality, Simple has talked about a lot of things in this interview that he has mentioned many times before in other interviews, and some quite obvious things. So here I'll highlight just a couple of questions that became the most discussed. Of course, I don't think Zyvu plays better than me. How can I say he's better? This year, yes, of course, but considering how hard I can train and the team I have, I think we'll always be better than Vitality. I believe that if I return to the current Na'Vi lineup, our team will have much more individual skill and overall game understanding than Vitality. But right now, I'm really tired. I need to take a break to deal with the paperwork for living in Europe and just relax. Due to all these thoughts, I started playing worse. The team became international. Of course, in the current situation, Zyvu will play better. It's more comfortable for him than for me. I've gone a tough path to victories at tournaments. We had a lot of problems. I went through the online era. I've achieved a lot, fighting against the best. I fought against Device, Coldzera, Nico, Zyvu. Only I did it with each of them throughout all these years. I also competed against Shiro and the Gambit roster that was destroying Na'Vi. That team did the same thing we did, but way better. In my career, there were many battles with top players. I've been through it all. I believe I deserve the title of the best in CSGO history more than anyone else. End of quote. Friends, what do you think? Is Simple the best player in CS history, or do you have other candidates? I don't know, for example, Device, again, Zyvu? Write in the comments below, it will be interesting to read and discuss. But of course, more than Simple's appearance on Thorin's show, the community can only discuss one thing. Is there a chance that we will see the reunion of the Na'Vi 4 in Cloud9? Simple mentioned several times that Na'Vi in 2021 was the best team he has played for. Everyone was on the same wavelength, operating at the same level, and even outside the game they spent time together exceptionally well. In that team, Simple even stopped solo carrying. Seemingly, it's an ideal moment for a reunion, and you can't think of a better fit. Cloud9 needs a sniper. Simple is currently inactive, so why not? There is just one problem. There's another highly skilled player eyeing for that spot. Remember how in the last episode we discussed how M0NESY brilliantly teases all the communities about moving to Cloud9? Well, it turns out that wasn't all. Recently, a fan shared a very interesting story about collecting players' signatures on a Cloud9 jersey, and when M0NESY was signing it, he reportedly said he wanted to be closer to Boomage on the jersey. How about that for investigating investigative journalism. But this is just the beginning. Boombl4 released a New Year's song, and in the video he asks Santa Claus for various gifts. What do you see on the list? Of course, a sniper. You still think that these are all just coincidences? Next, Boombl4 reposted a picture on his Telegram channel showing a choice between S1MPLE and M0NESY, and he wrote that the main thing here is to wear a bathrobe on the stream and there will be no difference at all. But the catch here is that they both love streaming in bathrobes. Yeah, imagine being in Boombl4's place and trying to decide which one he would choose. But let's delve deeper into the fan theories without removing the tinfoil hat. Next, Blast releases a video asking pro players to name their favorite Christmas songs. What do you think M0NESY chose? Well, of course, Boombl4's song. And then he changed his profile header on Faceit to Cloud9 colors. And of course, here's another batch of Cloud9 related baits from M0NESY's stream.
Да, чтоб ты понимал, я не знаю, у нашего типа на фейсите в нике стоит с детства за Cloud9. Поставь такой же ник. Поставь такой же ник. Да не, вы что, пацаны, гоните? А что это такое? Я не понимаю. О, это меня преследуют, блядь, эти облачка, блядь. Вот эти вот. Куда не пойду, всегда вижу их.
Возьми.
Блин.
Пока.
Ты можешь ворота просто, Молик?
Давай.
Так, подожди, я не понял. Считается ли я моргнул или нет? Илья демонстративно не реагирует на провокации в чате, связанные с КТ.
Яму пикает.
Да, вы думаете, пацаны, всегда зависит от... забейте. Не всегда вы думаете, что... Короче.
Дай мне АВП флешку, я мид выйду.
Я лучше промолчу.
Вылюх, если ты сделаешь фраг в коне.
Давай.
The young player is really eager to join Cloud9. Later they had a battle with S1MPLE on the stream and it turned out to be quite amusing. For now, Sasha is leading 1-0. Let's say he crushed it.
Минус 50. Я горю. Блять, Саня, я думал, я сейчас в полике сгорел, а тут взорвался нахуй.
But overall, their joint stream turned out to be very entertaining. They even had some knife rounds, and they spent the whole evening seeking revenge. In short, I recommend everyone to watch these highlights in full. Friends, who do you like to see in Cloud9, M0NESY or S1MPLE? As we see, Boombl4 doesn't really care, and now it's interesting to know your opinion. Write in the comments below. And finally, S1MPLE stated that he really wants to make it to the major in Shanghai. So apparently, we shouldn't expect him at the closest major in Copenhagen.
Bro, Shanghai Major? Yes. That's actually my goal, to play Shanghai Major. And especially on stage, especially in front of Chinese fans. This one is I'm looking forward like for this tournament. Oof. I love Shanghai, man. One of the nicest places that I ever been, to be honest.
Oh, and S1MPLE had another quarrel with Smooya, but that's already a default.
You idiots.
Yeah, David, the beginning of the round.
Yeah, he's not fun. Oh my.
Don't shoot me, piece of shit.
I've got... No.
That's not normal.
Yeah. Don't speak to me like this. I have apps for you.
Oh, last with AWP maybe, guys.
Yeah.
I have apps for you.
I'm literally gonna get him banned.
No.
Safe call.
You can go corner.
What the fuck is this?
With that sorted out, the last thing I wanted to mention is that HLTV has started summarizing the year, and for some reason they're doing it ahead of time. Just yesterday they announced the 20th place, and it went to Twists. And here's how HLTV explains it. Twists was a reliable performer with solid numbers from an exceptionally large sample, in addition to frequent peaks, as illustrated by his high percentage of maps with 1.30 ratings. He was also among the most consistent players round to round in the scene, with his 73.7% cast ranking him 15th of the top 20. One particular aspect in which Twist stood out was his incredible trade ability. He ranked 5th for trades involved per round, 9th for trade skills per round, and 11th for percentage of death trades, putting him as one of the best traders on both sides. This is best evidenced by the fact that he had the second most trade kills per round win in the entirety top 20 at 0.18. Even without any MVPs, Twist's EVP accolades highlight his role in some of FaZe's biggest successes. He was an EVP in one elite-level event, IEM Sydney, one high-level tournament ESL Pro League 17, and one medium-level online competition, Thunderpick World Championship. With only 2 bad events out of 18, Twist had a solid base level, but his output wasn't high enough to justify a better place on our list. His .68 KPR, 1.03 impact, and just 16.3% of rounds with multi-kills were among the lowest in the top 20, and showed a considerable drop-off when compared to some of his previous years. As a prediction for the next year, Twist chose Wrinkle from B8. He has been on this B8 team for a while, he's still young, has very good stats, and I think his name will appear in some roster shuffle eventually. So that's the 20th place. Do you agree, guys? I mean, in my personal top, he was like in top 10, and I wanted to release my top 20, I don't know, on January 1st or 2nd, maybe somewhere there, but I'm not even sure you need it at all. But you guys can always change the situation by voting with your likes and comments below. Anyways, I will try and do my best to appear again this year. Happy upcoming new year to everyone. I'm not saying goodbye for a long time. See you soon.